Okay, we are back. This is a Nightmare Dungeon. This is a tier 35 Nightmare Dungeon. Real quick explanation. My abilities are they're super fast. I mean, um, it's really hard to explain, but trust me when I say that the first two things that I'll do is my L2 button. If you look down at the bottom left, I have 6 abilities. My L2 button is my concealment button. That makes me go invis. It also increases my movement speed. I usually don't care much for the just going invis and doing that. I combine it with another thing, which is R2, which is my imbuement skill, and I've imbued my abilities now with shadow abilities. So when I do that, and I would actually do it the other way around, I would do the R2 first and then L2, which will increase uh, uh, my critical damage for that first hit will always be a guaranteed critical hit. So you can actually aim at things when you're moving on the board. It's really hard to explain it. Like I said, this is probably the fastest paced character that I've ever played to as far as complexity. He takes a little getting used to. But anyway, I also have some movement abilities. I keep 2 of those up at all times, besides my basic roll, which also increases my movement speed for a little while. But I also have a dash, and I also have it requires a target, but I have another one that dashes me forward and puts me directly behind them, opening them up for usually pretty wham bam thank you ma'am stuff. And like the 2 of those that work together will create a massive explosion around me. So you'll see a lot of purple going boom, boom, and then things disappearing and dying or whatever. It's just part of my dance. I'm gonna try to just play through this and not worry so much about talking. But real quick about these dungeons is first, in order to get to you have to actually fight your way to the dungeon, which is already going to be pretty tough anyway. It's a pretty good sized amount of running we'll have to do to get there. Once we get in the dungeon, I'll explain again what we have to do. So I'm just going to fly through this and try to kill everything in my way.
Time to do that.
Ah, I'm back fast. Oh, this full of shit. Not too terribly worried about loot here. I mean, except for the obvious stuff. This poor little werewolves had no idea what hit them. That's a combination of going stealthy and one of the key things that happens when I do go into concealment is I have an item on piece of gear that's going to be really hard to ever get rid of. But what it does, uh, uh, as soon as I figure out which one does it, Oh, right here. Casting a subterfuge skill, which is my concealment, leaves behind a decoy trap that continuously taunts and lures enemy. So when I cast that, you'll see like this weird like crown thing appear above everybody's head for quite a ways around me. Well, then they all rush towards me and meet in the middle. Well, then that decoy trap explodes after 3 seconds, dealing 10,882 damage. And it can occur every 10 seconds. So that mixed with my other uh, uh, crowd hitting, the things that'll hit everything around the area effect is what they're called. Okay, all right, we're getting close. I think we're at the okay. So now we have fought our way through the dungeon here to get to our gateway. So when we go in here, everything really changes. It becomes a totally different beast inside here. So it's going to not only have all of the nasty. So we'll go ahead and teleport in. It's not going to have all. I mean, it's not only going to have all of the nasty little shitty things that they try to do to you to make your life impossible, such as my healing received is increased by 15%. That's nice. That's the only benefit I get. But everything else, volcanic, while in combat, gouts of flame periodically erupt. It's kind of the same as the last one. Monsters deal cold damage. They gain 30%. Every monster has 30% extra life. Monster attacks from a distance reduce my armor by 7% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 35% armor I'm going to lose. So, and then that's not only it. Not only that, but there are traps. And they are placed in order to make your life a bitch. Alright, so these are a totally different deal here. So this is a Pearl of Warding. Every time I touch a trap in here, I will lose 1 stack of the Pearl of Warding. Sorry, getting a little cold. So the goal is to not touch any. Now I can buy, so far, I don't know, I accidentally bought 60, I'd nearly only buy 30. Just enough to get me through, because it's rare that I do touch the traps, but on this one I've got so damn many, it's not going to matter much, but I'll show you. So when you get to the end of the dungeon, that 60 up in the top right-hand corner, you open chests, and there's 4 chests in there. There's one completion chest, but then there's see that? That's a trap. That's a bitch. Anyway, in order to open those chests, each chest requires, the biggest one is 10. It requires 10 Zoltan's Warding to open. Then there's another one that's 4, and then another one that's 1. So about 15. So normally I get about 30. That gives me quite a bit of leeway, and I have a shit ton of them. I stockpiled them without realizing I was. But anyway, we have to survive this, so there is a lot of things that are going to be going on all the time. You can see that trap at the floor that just popped up. You'll see it'll do it again here in a second. There it goes. Its arm, and if it touches you, you lose a Zoltan's Warding. There it goes, right here. Shunk. And it goes right back down. So you've got to pretty much stay moving. There is not really a whole lot of rest time. You'll know when you do. Ooh, thank God for that monster. I almost took that damn. Ooh. Barrels here. This barrel, they're always, I mean almost always, untrapped. And you don't even think about it because you're swinging shit around. You don't see those little bastards sitting there. Alright, so here's a hallway. This is pretty easy. You just go right up the gut here. And these just light up. And they all look the same. See, they have this weird, like, floor pattern on them, like the Paisley Square looking thing or whatever. once they go out, move on to it. Or sometimes they leave you a little path around. I lost one that was not a path around. So anyway, we lost one. We're at 59 now. I usually just try to get past the traps. I don't worry too awful lot about them. There's going to be some rooms up here that get absolutely insane. So to actually have stepped on that with my own stupidity. Oops, see trap. Yeah. All right. There's going to be swishers and swingers and all kinds of shit coming up. So it's going to definitely put me through the ringer. That's the highest tier I've done so far. So it's going to definitely be a little harder than the last ones that I did. A lot of my damage is based on how close I am to the mob, so I get right smack in there with them. I mean, right up on them. That's why even when there's a room full of nasty shit, I'm right smack in the middle of that shit. Most of my damage comes from being really close. Alright, gotta be careful, traps here. Okay, so this is one of these nasty little mazy ones. Alright, so we might be doing this one for a little bit. Anyway.
I need more time.
I'm gonna guess, seriously, by the ability to kill in here, I could probably jump up another, maybe even 10 tiers. Okay, so that was a worthless room we went into. I hate those. Alright, up there. Just gonna kind of swing around the outside. It looks like I don't even... I may need to go here though. See, barrels are always a trap. You don't even see that thing until after you get it. You get a second and a half or so to react to it. There's a hallway of hell right here. Oh, gotta be careful. Stand on the doorway. Sometimes the doorways are trapped because they're very hard to see because of the angle you play it at. That was a dead room. Good thing I wasted all that time. Okay. So this one is going to light up. This is a room where if you look at this pedestal here, there's a little pedestal on the ground in front of me. That's actually going to pop up and it's going to have spinning armed fire frickin' things besides the floor traps. And I need to get to that chest in the middle, but more than the chest, I need to get to... I need to get to, there's an item down there that will allow me to unlock that locked door back there. I'm just going to go around the outside, make sure there's no bad guys. Okay, well, there's a room full of them. Well, that guy hit hard. Okay, alright, we're going to go in and light up. I'm going to wait for this to go down. Use this one. Okay, now when I lift this up, see the pedestals pop out, and they're spinners. So now the whole goddamn place is just a fucking jumbled up mess for blind people. But I'm gonna go right now, and we did it. So far we've touched one trap. That's actually pretty good, actually. Normally don't really pay that much attention or care. I'm trying a little bit, I guess, because of recording it. But all right. So now we got what we need to open the door. And this is the big trap room. These are so hard. There are ungodly amounts of things, and the only way to stop the trap, the traps, you can turn the traps off in the floor here, is to kill. There's a named guy, like I don't know what his name's going to be on here, but it is actually just a pain in the ass. So what I tend to do is I try to find myself a safe little corner, and it doesn't always work. It's going to take a lot of power to keep from dying. And then you get the flame galleys. Oh, yeah. All right, so. I hope it doesn't reset everything. I never thought about it. It does.
Need more time.
Ah, that's what it is. That's it right there.
I'm not ready yet.
Alright. So killing him turns off the traps on the floor. Well, except for the curses that come with you. Alright. So now all the traps are turned off. They're just nasty ass little closed traps. So that's the end of the dungeon. So what you get, what makes these worth doing, is you get this chest for completing that room. Then I have 58 Zoltan's warding stones left. It takes 10 to open this one. Get all kind of shit. That's just one chest. I usually try to pick them all up to see what I actually get. Then I go over here. This one's 4. Pick up those goodies. Then I go open the last one. And it doesn't matter how much it costs to open. They're going to have good stuff. It's totally random. So a lot of these are all legendary, which is nice. But I'm getting pretty close to having all those maxed out. All right, then this one is if you want to save yourself a whole lot of trouble in some zones where things chase you, you can open this one first, and it actually creates a shield that nothing will hurt you inside this shield. So, and all this is all good and dandy. I'm gonna have to go back. But all of it's for this part right here. And that is, God, I'm not even remotely close. I got 60 something more to go, 66 more to go, and that'll level that one up. And then I can start on this one and then that one. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for paying attention. We're done. Peace.